Alright, we back, we so back. Guys, it's the Australia series, my friends. That was awful. This video is how I planned my 2-month trip to Australia. First of all, check the description if there's a specific bit you want to skip to, because I put the chapters in the description. So, Australia was my first ever big solo trip that I planned. And I knew I wanted to go somewhere safe and that spoke English, and that's why I chose Australia and eventually New Zealand as well. I also was going to visit my friend who lives on the west coast in Perth, so I knew that I'd be staying with her for the first 2 weeks and arranged to do that, which was really nice, flying to the other side of the world, knowing you were gonna get picked up from the airport. You know, like that was good. My lovely friend was also nice enough to take a week off while I was in Perth, and we did a little road trip of the west coast. So that was all kind of sorted. She helped me plan that. I was very lucky to have that. Let me know if you want a video on my west coast itinerary though. And as for the east coast, I knew I wanted to hit all the like main places, you know, the ones on TikTok. And speaking of TikTok, I'd seen all the influencer marketing for my adventure project, also known as MAP for short. Guys, I can't even lie, I did not shop around. I had seen so many travel influencers doing MAP, saying how great of a time they had, that I just went on their website, and it was so easy to use and easy to plan your trip that I was just like, yeah, this is good. Seems pretty nice. I'm gonna choose it. So what is MAP? MAP is a travel agent that helps you plan your adventure on the East Coast. They also have some for Bali, I believe. So if you wanna go to Bali, they can help you plan that too. So MAP book all your accommodation, all your buses, and the kind of big activities that you do on your East Coast trip. So they take all that stress away from you and just do it for you and plan kind of an itinerary for you. What I really liked about MAP is it's not a guided tour. It's called semi-guided because they obviously plan everything for you. They give you an itinerary, they give you a calendar, and you are with pretty much the same group of people for the entire duration of your tour. So in that sense, it's a group tour because you're with the same people doing nearly all of the same things. However, you don't have a tour guide. You're getting places with your group by yourself. So taking the buses, figuring out how to get to your hostels, like you're doing that all by yourself. And you also have 3 days planned into your itinerary where you can do what you like, plan whatever activities you like, have a chill day, which is just like solo traveling, and you plan whatever you want to do on that day. The tour I chose to do was the 36-day adventure tour from Sydney to Cairns, and this ticked off all of the main places that you see on any TikTok about Australia, hitting all the major hotspots and doing all the cool activities like Fraser Island and the Great Barrier Reef, and also things like Australia Zoo. So this cost me £2,520, which is a lot, but it was nearly all my accommodation included. All of the really expensive activities like the Whitsundays and Fraser Island were included, and that's also all your buses, all the Greyhound buses, including 2 overnight buses. I also upgraded to girls only dorms, which I'll talk about later, so that's like an extra cost that was included in that, and I added a couple of extra tours on that I definitely wanted to do while I was there. And with this trip, I wasn't really budget backpacking. I wanted this to be like a once in a lifetime experience and do everything that I wanted to do while I was there. So if there was an activity that I wanted to do, I was going to spend the money and pay for it so that I wouldn't regret not doing it and would have to go back. I might only do this trip once in my life, and I'm very lucky to have done it, so I wanted to tick everything off that is there. Also, that's the cost because you're paying for the ease of someone doing all the admin for you. However, I do think you'd be paying around the same price if you booked everything yourself, can't lie. So I think it was a pretty good price. Pros and cons of doing a My Adventure Project tour. We'll start with the positives. You can make this tour very personalized. You have a 10-minute call with the travel advisor, and they kind of get to know you, ask what you want to do, what you don't want to do, so you can tell them things that you want to change in the set itinerary. You also have like 24/7 access to the travel agents through WhatsApp, so if you want to change anything or add anything or chat to them about any problems, you can very easily. Examples of things you can personalize, obviously like the room upgrades. If you're in a couple, you can upgrade upgrade to have private rooms. You also get to decide what boat you want to go on in the Whitsundays. So I did the Atlas, which was like a more chilled boat, whereas everyone else on my tour did the Atlantic Clipper. That's a story for another time. Also a pro, which I didn't even know about, is on Fraser Island we did Hippies tour, which everyone apparently says is like the best one you can do. So that was good, I guess, to have the clout of doing that and of knowing that it's a highly recommended and reputable tour that you get to go on. Obviously, again, it's just also super easy to use and pick what you want to do. Cons, you have like less flexibility in terms of if you had your own car and were doing your own itinerary, you could decide you really loved a place and stay there a lot longer and kind of play it more by ear as you go. You can't really do this when your tour is 36 days or 45 days. You kind of have to see everything in that time because everything's been pre-booked for you. One thing I will say about upgrading to girls only dorms is most of the people on the tour were girls anyways. So even if you didn't book a girls only dorm, you were basically gonna be in a girls only dorm. So you don't necessarily need to pay that extra expense, and I probably wouldn't have if I'd known that. Also in Rainbow Beach, I was put in a completely different hostel to everyone else just because I had a girls only dorm. I guess the good thing about that is you could make new friends by not being with people from MAP. Which brings me to my third con is you're stuck with those people for the entire tour. So if you don't get along, that's kind of a problem. Not to spill the tea or anything, but one girl literally left our tour after a couple of days. Like, were we really that bad? So just worth keeping in mind that you might not get on with everyone and you're kind of stuck with them. You're not really with them because it's a self-guided tour. You could just make friends with everyone else in your hostel and people not doing the same itinerary as you, but you are gonna be with them. Like, you're gonna see them on the buses and stuff. So just worth keeping in mind. Okay, not to end on a downer, guys, but that is the end of the video. Let me know if you have any more questions about MAP. This is the beginning of my Australia series where I'm gonna talk about many things to do with Australia. So if that interests you, please subscribe. And yeah, thanks for watching and I'll catch you later. Bye.